Cheers, love. The cavalry's here.
Je bublaris je. Ima šta ti imaš ludovcu.
Ovaj lik ako zna igrat može nastaviti. Do you know the missing letter? No way. Good. Vjetar puši brzinom 1 metar sekundi, ima 1% šanse kiši da padne, 93% je vlažnost u zraku i trenutno je 19 stepeni. Sunce izašlo u 5 sati i 9 minuta, a zaće u 8 sati i 18 minuta. Bože, što volim ovu aplikaciju. Ovo ti je veljane na fazonu Lola, a nije StarCraft 2.
Alert. Battleground initialization in progress. Combat preparation advised.
You are kind of scary looking.
Time remaining 10 seconds.
Something good over there?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Localized combat now beginning.
Yeah.
3 hero stop.
First blood.
Take that. Take this. Something good over there?
Just random Diablos.
Nothing to it.
Vital signs negative.
Speed kills.
Jebut.
Take this. Understood. Aye, aye. Yeah. Locked on.
Select target. Enemy defeated.
Right on target. Nice choice.
Alert. Warhead deployment in process.
Aye, aye.
Deployment complete. The warheads are ready for collection.
Looks like you need a timeout.
I'm surrounded.
Roger.
You will do better next time.
You need a timeout.
Enemy unit launched.
Something good. You're going down.
Kako se ovako uzeo sve nuklearno?
Work order complete. Warheads fully deployed.
Locked on.
Select return.
Roger.
Ja rano ne ideš.
Enemy unit launched.
Nothing to it. You got it.
A change of strategy is in order.
Looks like you need a timeout. Clock's ticking.
Pa ne to.
Enemy nuke launched.
Clock's ticking.
Looking forward to this.
Aye, aye.
Heal yourself, minion.
Theater confirmed. Administrator unresponsive. Initializing respawn.
Ne mogu da vjerujem da ćemo ovo izgubiti.
Enemy hero terminated.
I guess I walked right into that one, eh?
Blokira, body blok.
You got it.
Assigning warheads for deployment. Calculating completion time.
Here we go. Understood.
Warheads deployed. Form an orderly line for collection at your convenience.
Locked on.
Been slain.
Učeru, dragi, šta to radi?
Enemy nuke launched. Attack lost. Warheads collected.
And she's back in the game. Picking up the pace.
Fort destroyed. Vital signs negative.
Nothing's gonna
Select
stop.
a talent.
Yeah. Yes. Picking up the pace. Understood.
An allied fort is fallen.
Now, where were we? Yeah.
Prepare for warhead deployment.
Understood. You're going down.
Update. Warheads have been deployed. End update.
Pow. Understood.
Collection complete.
I'm going back through.
Select a talent.
You got it.
Kill confirmed.
I need a breather.
Who wants to protect this mercenary camp?
Something good over there. Take this. Bombs away.
Enemy defeated.
Your time has come.
Enough of your rubbish. Understood. I love this part.
This one's life must end.
Roger.
Enemy hero terminated. Killing spree.
We need these mercs for backup. Looks like you need a timeout.
Warhead deployment in process.
I need a breather. Let's do that again. Clock's ticking.
Warheads are now ready for collection.
Yeah.
Enemy nuke launched. All enemies have defeated.
Their death is our
For elimination confirmed.
Clock's ticking. Nothing to it. Something wrong. Nothing to it.
Kill confirmed. Select a talent.
Ha! Bet that's smart. Yes.
Who wants to capture this mercenary camp?
Picking up the pace.
I just want to watch the world burn. Hot footing out there.
Picking up the pace.
Vital signs negative.
Ha! Tip top. Locked on. Picking up the
Enemy hero terminated. Your killing spree has ended.
Dobro, stisnemo malo. Sad smo ga opet ustrali.
This one's life must end.
Ja je pačer, dragi, jesi sirnja.
Warhead deployment nearing completion.
back in the fight. Roger.
Warheads available for collection now.
Pusti ma jebati, ja, bože. Taman sabr da i možemo dobiti kao ne izgubimo. Oh well.
All warheads have been claimed. Enemy nuke launched.
Kill this
Your team has lost a fort.
Aye, aye. Picking up the pace.
Elimination complete.
I claim victory from death.
Well, that just happened. You got it.
Hero terminated. Warheads inbound. Countdown activated.
Weapons hot.
Picking up the pace.
Warhead deployment complete. Collection
Help
is
mid,
advised.
Butcher, help mid.
Warhead collected. Your nuke is now arming.
Take out this.
Help mid, Butcher, creep later.
Warhead connection. Updating mortality statistics. Enemy nuke launch. Enemy nuke launched.
Back in the game. You're going down. Clock's ticking.
We strike here.
Vital signs negative.
Ever get that feeling of deja vu? Clock's ticking. Wait for it.
Kill confirmed.
Ha! Bet that's smart. Aye, aye.
You have lost a key.
Something good over there.
Enemy defeated.
Let's try that
Beginning.
again.
Prepare for collection.
Aye, aye.
gdje si to tu, gdje si šta ima?
Warhead deployment complete. Collection is advised.
Something good over there? Take this!
Aha, tako, samo mirite, tako.
Warhead collection complete. Preparing for next round. Warning. Core under attack by hostile forces.
Roger! Yeah!
Ne mogu je ničim.
Picking up the pace. Picking up the pace.
Oj, malo me ovo iritira, par dana dobijam zaredom sve nekakve budalaste, alaj.
Roger!
Imaju nekakvu Nexus maniju, nešto u ovom sranju. Flame, please, reveal her.
Is under attack.
Vidi materit budale, ne zna da ima flame, da je može revealat.
Picking up the pace. You got it.
Warning. Core under
Ovo je
attack.
problem kod kažalaca. Ovo je problem kod kažalaca. Dobra stvar što ih je puno. Loša stvar što su glupi.
Defeat. MVP.
Gledaj, bolan, ja imam 19 kilova, najjači asasin u čitavoj igri ima 4 kila. At.
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here!
Oj. Nema vezi. Zato, baba, poslije ove ode Starcrafta, ode 1 na 1. Onda nema teammate, jaran, onda sam samo ja. Onda volim ovako na budale, na ove kažalce naletim, onda su mi kažalci najdraži.
The battle begins in 10 seconds.
Picking up the pace.
5.
Onda volim kažalac kam kakav dođe, onda su meni najdraži.
Let the battle begin.
Boga, onda uživam kad mi je naleti.
Roger.
Ups. Hajde puno posketaj našli. Pa imamo hilečića, svašta nešto malo. Ne valja.
Much better. Clock's ticking. I need a breather.
Izuli. Aj. Prvi. Sorry, Teresa. I'm ready. No, okay.
Slain.
Okay.
Tip-top. Clock's ticking. Something good over there?
Nije ovo ništa ovo već.
The altars will rise
Sve smo tu dao u...
Be ready.
Znači lako.
You must capture them quickly.
Nije.
To što ima heroji koji se aktivaju za game, koje to nije ništa. Ovaj moj što ga imam ti znači piker. Znači ja samo čekam kad neko ostane ispod 50% HP-a, ja ga dovršim. Evo recimo ovaj sad kad bi neđu ulje došlo. I ovaj se ne može vratiti kući.
No,
The Raven Lord demands it. Enemy slain.
This realm turns against you.
Clock's ticking.
I am lord of this realm, and it will not be stolen from me. Doomed to the Gravekeeper.
I will not give up so easily.
Understood.
Your time is ending, Raven Lord.
Ej! Hila se zadnji moment. Svaka čast, majstor.
Roger.
da.
Hajmo se malo dole da čistimo. Stvarno mogu njih dvojica dobro čisto.
Choose a tower. The altars rise again.
Understood.
Đâu?
Lay claim to the altars. Not disappoint me.
Chú nhớ mà chắc là.
Yes.
Na. Biết không một là bà. Đó.
Oh.
Et là, Misère, on se fait ruiner la gueule.
Ima šta je. Ovaj uter je dobar. Ovaj su dobra. Kenji isto formidable.
Atuna!
Yes!
No.
Yes!
Yes! Atuna! Please, help me!
I can't. You suck too much at this game.
I'm sorry, man.
No problem. With time you will learn. After this, some Nexus Mania all noobs started to play this game. It's the same in ranked. It's the same thing in ranked. All noobs started to play this game.
You got it.
Top. No, fuck. Fuck.
Double kill.
Nice.
That seems generous.
Nice.
You hunted the wrong game. Looks like
No.
One kill.
A valiant strike.
Once more, the altars rise from the depths.
Guarda dal sud marchio. C'è uno marchio.
understood.
Budale jedne, uzimajte ovo govno.
The altars have risen. Activate them now.
Yeah, please, help me. Oh putain, sérieux, c'est pas une blague ça, sérieux. Putain.
Your powers will be
There. Allô.
Gravekeeper, like all the others. That was rather violent.
Yeah. Take that.
Your killing spree is over. Killing spree. This tower shall serve the Raven Lord.
Back in the fight. Clock's ticking.
Try me.
Wish they had a pub round here.
It's nearly time.
And we'll earn victory.
Nice.
The tower has been lost. Come on.
Clock's ticking. Ah, thanks, love.
Oh, c'est quoi ce délire? Oh, fuck. Nothing control.
Please reach the altars before you.
Oh.
You have been slain.
Ouch. Ping.
You are no longer willing.
I'm focused till then, why
Fire upon the core! Shatter it!
Our tower has fallen.
Push mid, push bottom, push bottom.
Non mais putain, mais c'est sérieux ça? Putain, mais c'est fou le kiff quoi. Allô?
Now, where were we?
Putain, personne quoi. Putain, vraiment.
Picking up the pace.
Fuck.
Take
One of my towers has been stolen. Excellent.
She shoots, she scores. Clock's ticking.
The altars are rising, heroes. Do get ready.
Oh no.
You're going down. Yeah.
Heroes, I have opened a tunnel near our core that leads to the battleground center. Use it well. A good kill.
What? I mean, I knew I could do that. I've opened my tunnel as well.
You're good.
Non vas-y putain, merde. Putain, je suis con. Partout.
Take the altars and put an end to the Yes, slay them.
Fuck.
You have done well, heroes. Let the Gravekeeper know my power.
You've lost this one, Raven Lord.
Yes.
It will not be your last.
Ooh, clap your
Killing
hands.
spree. Enough of this charade. Bring down the Gravekeeper's core.
Yeah.
Stop attack.
Prepare yourselves, heroes. The altars rise.
Go heal, we need this one.
Putain, fuck. Putain, mais c'est quoi ça?
Locked on.
Double kill.
Yeah. Speed kill.
That was fun. To all who serve the Gravekeeper. What's this? A hero has left the battle. Double kill. The altar is ours. Fire upon the Gravekeeper.
Something good over there?
A well-earned victory.
Yes. Something good over there? Roger. Understood.
The altars are rising. Do get ready. Your killing spree is over. The time is now, heroes. Claim the altars in my name.
This is the way of the Nexus.
Choose a talent. My hold on this realm tightens.
This realm turns against you.
The Gravekeeper claims another
Something good over there? Right on time.
Go, Atuna, go, Atuna. Oh.
Yay.
Aye, nice. Very difficult.
Prepare yourselves, heroes. The altars rise.
Focus my seal. Focus my seal. My target, please. Focus my target. Sorry.
The altars have risen. Activate them
Go,
now.
Jenna. Jenna.
You got it.
Jenna. Ah, fuck. Putain, mais putain.
This
Comment
realm
ça se fait, quoi? Contrôle,
and
quoi.
mine
Contrôle,
alone.
contrôle. Fuck you. Contrôle. Slide.
This realm is mine. And
Wow. Bye. Thank you. Sorry.
defeat.
My stat is very, very bad. I'm sorry.
MVP.
Pylon show, ima pylon show nam treba.
What it took to get to where we are right now.
You know.
What we have kind of envisioned for the show, so that pushing forward you guys can know. So when Dan says we've been working on this for 4 years, we're actually not joking. That's you know how sometimes me included, I'm like, wow, we're doing this thing for 25 fucking years, and people are like, what is it actually? It's like, oh, it's been 2 months. No, 4 years. Like that many BlizzCons ago, we approached the Morheims, we approached some of our friends at Blizzard, and we were just like, look, one of the things missing, one of the things that needs to be done is a talk show. And it was great. We had State of the Game, we had, you know, Inside the Game for a little while there too. We've had these shows where people can kind of begin to talk about StarCraft, but it's been harder since then. There's still our shows doing it, you know, shout out to Dank Shrine and some of these guys that do these shows, but it's important to have more options, and Dan and I have been working on that long.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we finally just pulled the trigger and are doing it, and it looks great. So cheers to all the guys helping us out, Cobra.
Yeah,
definitely doing a lot behind the scenes and all that, and this is gonna be great, man. Like I kind of like that we're doing it on our own and can just kind of do whatever we want. It's especially going to be cool to watch an Unleashed in Control and talk about what he thinks is stupid and what is smart.
I half Unleashed. The old Wild in Control got into a lot of trouble saying a little bit too much of his opinion, but
I do want to point out this kind of funny thing, right? So there's this terrible meme that goes around that I start a lot of shows and don't finish them. Now, of course, like all memes about me, you started it. You're the originator. You're the originator of this meme. But now you're making a show with me. So, how long until this show's canceled?
Well, it's funny. This is like a look at the two pros here going back and forth because this is still on topic, Dan. I was ready to talk about this very subject as well. Setting up expectations for you guys. We're excited to do this. We think this is something we need to do. Jokes aside, that was actually one of the things that it kind of sucked when we were like, hey, we're doing the show. People's like, it wasn't 50-50, but there was enough comments that I was like, really? That's the first thing you think of? And they're like, are Tothas doing it? Well, when are they gonna quit? It's like, yeah, okay. Well, let's touch on that subject. So, because it kind of ties into what we did to get into this as well. When we say we worked on it for 4 years, we mean it. This last year, not year, but let's call it 5 months, 5-ish months. We're working with Blizzard, talking to them, being like, hey, we want to do this show. And like when Dan said, fuck it, we're just gonna do it. That's kind of what happened, is we wrote a script, we made a proposal, we pitched it to Blizzard, we're like, this is needed, we want it. And the response was like, yeah, that's a good idea. We want that. And I was like, and it was a weird moment because, you know, we love Blizzard. We have a ton of friends there. They're amazing. They're the reason we're here talking about the show. But like, it caught me off guard. Anyways, what will keep this show going, what will keep this alive, because we are not doing it with Blizzard. They're supporting us, they're awesome. But this is Dan, myself, Cobra, and some other people helping out with like the graphics and music and stuff. This is us. So if you guys like it, if you're watching it, make sure and support it. That doesn't mean you need to break out your wallet and throw $500 bills at us. It just means if you like it, watch it, share it, talk about it, and that's it. If you can do more, do more. If you don't need to do more, don't do more. And that's enough for us, I think, right, Dan?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, we are not in esports to get rich. If we were, maybe we'd be going into Fortnite or something at this point. But
I was just gonna say, what would you do to get rich in esports? What would have been your master plan?
To get rich in esports?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm putting you on the
well,
spot.
I could be one of the 50 million people out there that's an esports consultant that's never done anything in esports. That's always a very good way. You know, you just like a professional streamer of the popular games. That's a good way to get rich, it seems. You know, but I think I'd rather just live a normal existence and play StarCraft.
PUBG caster in the chat. Cannibal Sheep, you dirty Sly Fox. Okay, so that's it. So just to kind of wrap up topic number 1, guys, when we say that this has been a long time coming, we mean it. We've been actually working on it for a long time. We're excited about it, but the plan is every Wednesday, this time, we come on and we talk some StarCraft. We're gonna have guests on in the future. This can be any shape or size. This can be Idra, it can be Tyler, it can be... I actually asked Apollo, but unfortunately he's moving or something next Wednesday, so he couldn't make it, but we're reaching out to different people. I'd love to have Rifkin on, or Fear Dragon, and just people of every different shape and size. So, tasteless. If you guys want to talk some Battletoads, we can get a tasteless on here. Alright?
Yeah, I can't wait for that. It'll be a great one. But yeah, I mean, if we're doing this every single week, you know, occasionally we'll miss an episode, I'm sure, because of travel and stuff, but I hope to get like everyone on. And this is StarCraft 1, this is StarCraft 2. There's more going on in StarCraft 2, and we'll get into that more later, but you know, I think we'll end up hitting upon basically everything that matters.
Yep, that's the plan. We want to highlight people, and we want to just tie up the community and talk StarCraft. So that's what you guys can expect. Thank you for putting up with our spiel. And we'll move on to subject number 2. So subject number 2 we have here is that we just wrapped up the StarCraft 2, or not StarCraft 2, excuse me, just the StarCraft 20-year celebration. Blizzard reached out and grabbed a bunch of community people and did it in kind of all-encompassing ways, very different. And it was pretty cool. So Dan, to just kick things off, I want to ask you about what you thought of specifically the celebration, then we can talk about 20 years of StarCraft, of course. But what did you think of it?
I mean, it was really fun. I was very happy to be there and a part of it. It sucked that Sean got sick and couldn't come the next day, but a good group of people there. It was definitely fun, like seeing the old faces. I think people really enjoyed seeing like Huck and Hydra play again, and you know, just I wish that it wouldn't have been as many free-for-alls and team games because no one there ever plays those, and you can't really commentate them, and they even make the game lag. So I thought that was kind of silly, but you know, we definitely had a good amount of 1v1s and fun 2v2s and stuff. So
it's hard too because I try to, like, you and I definitely come from the competitive side, so when I heard it was not going to be a tournament and I heard it was going to be mostly fun games, I was immediately disappointed and just didn't like that idea. And that was kind of even the holiday bash that was kind of pushed a little bit from the Blizzard side. But I'm trying to be more open, and it's kind of apropos that the 20-year celebration, like, look, it isn't just the hardcore players that play StarCraft or enjoy it. And in fact, a lot of people have, you know, the majority of their playtime and their history was UMS stuff. So I try to be more open-minded to that, but I'm even the more curmudgeon old guy than Dan is. I think Dan's gonna be the happy guy here, because it was okay. It turned out fine because of the format, because we were just like loose and having a good time, and like you said, the good people there. But I don't know, I thought it sucked, the free-for-alls and all the like, you get these like legendary good players that haven't played in forever, and then you're like, now you're gonna play in a format you never played too. It's kind of weird.
A little bit weird on that one.
But it's cool that Blizzard did it. And
yeah, no, overall, just having the event is sick, because it's like all these people that have had so much to do with the game for their entire life. Yeah, it's nice.
And one of the nice things they're doing too that I really like, and I think this is amazingly thoughtful, they've been sending out StarCraft like tokens and coins in a letter that says, you know, thank you for your contributions to StarCraft. And on my Facebook, it's not just data mining, it's not just my information being sold to the Russian government, but also it showed me a picture of, do you remember Eminem was her handle? I can't remember her name. Someone at StarCraft, someone at Blizzard.
Was it Michelle?
I mean, yeah, but maybe. This is like everyone in the chat.
Anyways, no, I remember her very well. She was at like every event back in the day.
She worked for Team Liquid guys. She did a lot of cool stuff, but she hasn't been a part of StarCraft for years. But she did a lot for Team Liquid, and she was at some of these WCG events and stuff like that. My point is, they sent her a coin, and they sent some of these other community people a coin, just saying thank you for helping with StarCraft. I think
that's really super cool, because she was a huge part of the community back then. Actually, like, she was always at the events. She was one of the only people that had a camera and taking pictures.
Yep.
Because it started back, you know, before people really had cameras, and it was actually hard to get pictures on a computer, and most people, you didn't know what they looked like until you met them at a LAN. That was a big chunk of StarCraft time.
The magic of LANs, I do miss that. And it's like, I missed it in a way that, like, I miss college. I don't want to go back to college. Like, that time in my life is come and gone. But I missed the small upstart feel that we had at those LANs, where it was Dan in cargo pants, Nyokin in like a golf hat and a, you know, collared shirt. And it just felt very small, ridiculous, but awesome, and we cared so much that we didn't care. You know, well, we cared so much that we didn't care that we looked stupid, I guess, and it was really fun.
Well, I think there is something of that missing nowadays, because that is so fundamental to esports, is having some of the smaller LAN tournaments, and just having LAN tournaments where you can meet these people and play these people. Everything's become so professionalized at this point. And obviously it's nice in a way, because there's a bunch of people that make a living, and it kind of like, it's become more mainstream, whatever the hell that means nowadays. But yeah, there's like a hole there, where we're not. Help me out here. It's like hard.
Did MLG feel that, you think, or?
Yeah, MLG was the in-between. And I think that's why people like really appreciate that, like these giant open bracket type situations. Like, you just sign up for an MLG and you go down, and it kind of has that feel where it's like, well, you know, anyone, you have a good day if you're good enough, here you are. And I mean, it's great to have all these qualifiers and stuff. And I think WCS is actually going very well right now, and I don't want to lose that. But yeah, there's the open format of having some StarCraft tournaments and just being like, hey, this is a big tournament. If you're good, or you just want to have fun and you have the money to spare, you can come here and play. So I wish we still had a bit of that.
It's interesting, because I absolutely agree, and it's one of those subjects where I feel like you can't have it both ways, and we're definitely going in the right direction, like you said, and you kind of acknowledge things professionalizing is good, people making a living, players of the caliber of Meeb are emerging from places in the world where, you know, previously that didn't really happen. But I do miss, and not to get way too off topic, and guys, this is a danger, by the way. Dan, our like 2-hour show could be a 9-hour show. Buckle up. But like, it absolutely could be that. Now I lost my train of thought because of that joke. I guess I was trying to say, just, I liked the amateurish LANs, and I miss that. but they have to kind of go by the wayside in order to get where we're going. The money's not there, and like it used to be that was how companies made money, is they just advertise or like, hey, at this land, people show up, and people will say dream hack and stuff like that. That business model works for them, but like, I don't know. Do you know, like, they're gonna have an open bracket at WCS Austin, but it's just different. I think you should sign up and play at it, but in that bracket, if like in Showtime did qualify, I believe, but like let's say Showtime doesn't qualify, yeah, that wasn't what happened to us when we went to land. Like, there wasn't just a random flash or nada in there.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go far enough back, though, I guess the lands were a little bit like that, where, like, you know, like, back in WCG USA, like, qualify for times, right? The country would be divided up, and, like, people would show up to a land, it'd be a lot of fun, but there would be someone that was there and was going to win it. And if you hit dead. So, in a way, that still did exist back then.
Okay, fair enough. And then also at the StarCraft 20-year celebration, we had the event that went on, and it coincided with Twitch actually beforehand, where they did the single-player playthrough, the hyper crazy thing that Destiny ended up winning. Stephen Bonnell himself just came in, stayed awake for I think at one time I want to say something like 52 hours or something. It took him a total of 62, I believe, but he stayed up for like 40 or something.
Yeah, the Up a Tree Zelda I was actually talking to, he explained a lot of this to me. It sounded really cool. I felt I don't know if it was like advertised super well, because I kind of knew what was going on, but I wasn't aware of exactly, you know, what was on the line and all that. And it was, I mean, that's a lot of money and stuff, but yeah, kind of cool that Destiny just pops in and does it in an intelligent way, and bam, like over the course of 2 gigantic streaming sessions, wins the entire thing. And I like that they had, like, for instance, another whole, like, what was it, $1,000 for whoever did that, the Lost Vikings bullet hell game or whatever. So I think that stuff like that's really cool, and I saw a lot of people tweeting like, oh, here's some free-for-alls going on, and kind of neat, because that's the first time I've actually seen free-for-alls, people excited about them at all. So
yeah,
maybe that's part of why we did that in San Francisco, is it had, you know, I think a lot of people like to watch that when everyone was kind of competing in the free-for-alls and stuff, so they're like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is cool format.
I think at the outward glance, it was really cool. It's just cool that they made such a spectacle of 20 years of StarCraft that it wasn't just like, here's a show, here's a tournament, we made a video, congrats, let's move on, we don't care anymore. It was very clear that Blizzard cared a lot, and they reached out and touched different community members. They did it different ways. They, like I said, they coincided with Twitch. They did the big show with us in San Francisco as well, so that's really cool. Even a panel at PAX East. But I can't help but to be critical of the business side of this. And you mentioned a little thing that basically I could make an entire show out of. I'm sure of it. But it wasn't advertised for the most part, and the money was really severe. It was $10,000 for first place in the single player thing. It was like $8,000, then $6,000, then $4,000, something along those lines. It was like $25,000 in total. These personalities were paid just to participate, by the way, and I was one of them, so they were paid very well. And then in the free-for-alls, during cash there, they brought a face rating. It was really cool how they did it. A complete problem that StarCraft 2 specifically, and we're going to get to StarCraft Remastered at the end, and this problem is, might as well be the Black Plague for them. But like, there's things that get invested, and there's events that get put on, but they're not given their due. And the ability for them to be shown off and to reach the most amount of people and get the more bang for their buck is diminished. And this was a good example of that not doing it, and I feel terrible. It's so much money, it's a great event. It could have been a bigger deal.
Yeah, well, this kind of links back to what we opened the show talking about, and it to some other things as well. Like, for instance, where do you get your things advertised in StarCraft, right? Okay, well, everyone in StarCraft kind of uses Twitter, but obviously, you know, it's a timeline, it goes down. You know, that's not going to be like, if you miss a day, then you might miss the whole thing unless people continue to talk about it. Then there's like Team Liquid, which, you know, they kind of put up some news and the forums are a little bit active, but it's not what it once was. And then you have StarCraft Reddit, that's probably the main place right now. And obviously things get upvoted and sit there, and then eventually they go away. But there's not like an actual website for StarCraft.
Yeah.
And I know that there's like some WCS website that
used, right? Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
No, you hit it. There is a website. It's just that didn't become the community hub, I guess.
Yeah. So there's no real community hub, and then this other aspect, like yeah, I think this is actually something that this show will help with, right? If there's something cool like that.
Wow.
You need something, and this is part of the reason why Jeff and I wanted to make the show is. There needs to be linking together of everything. There's like these storylines don't connect. It's like we have two different main storylines. We have the WCS cast, right? So we have like WCS, and then at each WCS you're talking about the previous WCS, and that kind of connects it. And then at GSL, it's always Nick and I. So we talk about what happened in the previous GSL, right? And then we go forward. So there's like these two storylines, but there's not like a lot of connection for everything together. And I think that is one of the main reasons why we need a show like this weekly, where we can actually kind of, bring it all together. And be like, okay, well, here's this cool thing, and what's happening next week? Oh yeah, we're definitely going to keep up with this and follow this and see what's going on here. So, yeah.
And I think touching on it, like, just to fuck it, we'll do it live type of moment here, but we talked a lot about this when we were conceptualizing the show, but for those of you listening right now, if you're a Fear Dragon, a base trader, some of these guys, Dark Ding Shrine, let us know if you're doing something in like the coming weeks or whatever. Hit us up, and I think we should open up with a segment of like, here's what's coming up, just to do that, Dan. I think that could be like our ongoing subject where we were like, here's the stuff showing up. Nick and Dan are commentating this next week. Fear Dragons at this thing. Base Trade's putting on a tournament, and I think that'd be a cool idea. So hold us accountable. Tell us to do that, and we'll do it.
It's like, hey, this is Challengers this week, and check that out. And here it's oh man, looks like Bjorn is being interviewed by Dank Shrine. That's gonna be pretty sick. Like we want to just promote StarCraft. Yeah. There's a reason Jeff and I remain in this game. Did that? My camera just switched to like a different.
He's back there, man. He's doing magic and stuff. You just sit back and buckle up.
I have two webcams plugged in. I guess people just saw some hearts that my daughter drew in a thing of tape. But anyways, no, I like all I want all of these things to be mentioned, and for people to find the content that they want to watch and be able to watch those things. And for StarCraft to just like do well, we still have the best esports game in the whole world.
We do,
but we don't. There's like a lot of shit missing here that needs to be filled in and needs to be connected. And I don't know. I hope that we can help with that.
But don't worry, guys. Future shows won't be just us tooting our own horn. We'll do that for half the time. I'm just kidding. But no, I like that. We're gonna do
be the whole time.
Okay, you're right. That's probably true. So, message the Twitter or hit us up individually or whatever if you're a content creator. Let us know. But that's one of our things we're pushing forward. So moving on to the next subject, and this one gets a little bit more fun, I think. Sure. We're going to touch on the WCS controversy that we've had in this last week. So Cobra's going to pull up some graphics here to kind of show what we're talking about. But just to intro it, in case you didn't hear about this, and then we'll begin to talk about it. So the WCS qualifiers are going on right now. I think specifically North America, those qualifiers. But in these qualifiers, players of all different shapes and sizes are fighting for their position in WCS to get into Challenger, to get into the actual WCS bracket itself, which is huge. You get money just for qualifying into WCS Austin, and then one of the winners, you actually get flown there, I believe, and just guaranteed money. It's just, it is how you be a professional in StarCraft 2 right now. In those qualifiers, a notorious player, Avalo, I call him Reels. Demani says Avalo, I think, and then it just messes my brain up.
You're right.
You're right. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Get out of here. Anyways, Avilo, you guys know him. He's a popular StarCraft 2 streamer. He was on the American team for Nation Wars, and he's just or not, he's a big personality in the StarCraft 2 scene. He was facing a guy called the Riddler. The Riddler is someone I'm not intimately aware of or know very well, but I've hit him a bunch on the ladder. And he played under the exact same count, because this is ridiculous in StarCraft 2 that you could do this, but it was Avilo against Avilo, the same names and everything. And they ended up playing a Terran versus Terran game. Game 1 went, I believe, an hour and a half long. is like one of the final matches of the night, so this is like 8 hours into the tournament, and these guys are playing this. Game number 1 ends up going so long and gets to a stalemate, or at least that's kind of a stalemate.
That's where the drama really begins.
Yeah, I know. Let me finish. So
okay, go ahead.
Let me give people what's going on here.
I'm excited. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know. It's good drama. Things aren't really progressing very well in the game, so Avilo just kind of declares and I guess asks the judge, but you know, judges are watching. They're not like, he didn't like contact an embassy or something like that. And he just says, hey, nothing's happening. I'd like a draw. And the judge made a ruling without the Riddler's consent, as far as I understand. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in this. Looks like we have a little video here.
And meanwhile,
maybe Cobra's just preparing that. We can't see. We're getting used to the production. Anyways, so he asked for a draw. The judge says, sure, there's a draw. And the game just, boop, it's a draw. They have to replay it. But because it took so long, they actually had to redo it the next day. So that's what happened. Dan, what the fuck?
Yes. Let me fill in just a little tiny bit, because you basically nailed it. The game that Avilo asked for a draw, the Riddler was winning. It's a very turtley stalemate position with like things like battle cruisers with Yamato and you know, Ravens and stuff like that. And the Riddler was ahead. He had more money and stuff. Avilo wanted the draw. They gave the draw, and we'll get into that in a minute because that's fucking crazy. But
yes,
then they regamed, and it got into the exact same position again, and the Riddler ended up winning eventually. And from there, the Riddler actually got a warning. So we have to talk about each portion of this. And we should
start
probably
with the draw, though. Let's unfold
the
this.
draw chronologically.
Yeah, because there's a lot to unpack here, but let's start with the draw.
Yes. Okay. Now, first, I want to do a little virtue signaling here.
Okay.
Admins are underappreciated. Okay, it's a hard job. It's a loveless job. They get shit on. Okay. But you can't. There is a draw mechanic within StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
There is an actual. The game will draw itself. In StarCraft 1, you might need to talk to both the players and say, "Hey, do you think? What do you think about this?" Right? And the thing is, when there used to not be a draw mechanic in StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
And we had a couple draws in professional play, and it would be like, they would pause and ask the players, and then one of the players might say, no, I think I can still win. Then they'd play a little bit more. I remember a specific game with Sulky versus some Terran, where they paused and the Terran's like, no, I think I can still win, and 20 minutes later he's like, I can't win, this is a draw. Okay, it became a draw, they played again. That would be how you would do it if there was not a way that the game draws itself. But if the game will draw itself, if you hit the conditions for drawing, which is like not mining and nothing down, those are good conditions. That makes sense, right? If you're not mining anything and nothing's dying, that means the game is going to draw, right? And it gives you a couple minutes or something. So it's so crazy that they did that they just gave a draw there. That can anyone argue that's fair? Raise your.
They didn't even defend it. I don't believe. I think it was more of a non-answer when they kind of did end up like moving past this, and we'll talk about further unpacking. But just to give my 2 cents on this, it's been done before, by the way, guys, and I love them, and I mentioned him earlier. But actually, Apollo was commentating a match at a DreamHack 5 years ago, whatever it was. The game's just slowed down to a stalemate situation. And without being asked, he typed in, is, you know, draw or question mark, or like, is this, you know, should we redo? And that put it in the players' heads. The guy that was like slightly behind and probably would lose 45 minutes later was like, yeah, is it a draw? Let's do it. Or no, it was like a floating base situation, but he definitely could have won, and the other guy could not have. But because Sean said that, it just fucks up the competition itself. And that's why in this situation, never, ever step in as judges, which makes it, by the way, to give some accountability, because it is hard to be a judge. Avilo shouldn't just talk into the chat, is this a draw? And that's why actually in Korean League, they used to be much more heavy-handed, but if you said anything unofficially, you were just immediately penalized, because it's about the game, it's about the integrity of the game. And it's, you know, it was kind of funny is Avilo tried something. This kind of goes back to that weird thing, like, I can't even remember the exact circumstances, but there's a lot of drama around Scarlet because she kind of played the system and came out, like she got a regame on a match she lost because of a weird bracket thing or something like that. But this is like a velo, like you can hold him accountable, but he technically didn't break any rules asking for a draw, and then he got this mega favorable thing, which just sucks, but it ends up being the league that looks bad. It's not a velo, in my opinion, or the Riddler. The Riddler's a victim in this case.
Yeah, for that piece of it, I mean, a velo looks bad for other things, but that part, it's so
skins as well as
so crystal clear that you can't just declare a draw in a game that has rules for that. So that's just like wild to me that occurred.
So judges, and I'm sure the guys learned this lesson, but you just don't say anything. You absolutely can't. You have to have rules in place. The game already has a draw system set up. If a player like a velo who does make it hard because he says a lot of things and you want to respond, you can't. You just ignore it. You let the match play. And if it goes on for 5 hours, then so be it. Now, Dan, more happened, I guess.
Yes. So let's we just saw this morning up there. Okay, so they play game 2. It goes on for another hour or a little bit over an hour, and the Riddler ends up winning that one. I was actually watching part of it at that point because StarCraft is blowing up. Okay, so let me just summarize this letter right here, because I'm sure there's lots of people listening to this just on podcast or something. After reviewing your games last night, this is to the Riddler, and it's warning issued for WCS counter open qualifiers and A. And it's to the Riddler from a Blizzard account. After reviewing your games last night during the open qualifiers for WCS Challenger Season 1, we are issuing you a warning. Okay, it brings on a section of the rules, say players must compete to the best of their ability at all times.
Is under attack.
And okay, so it's something about play nice, play fair. This extends beyond overt bad manner to include gameplay during official tournaments where the admins believe that a player is not actively playing to win. Okay, so, and then it goes, there are several points that the admin team believes you are playing to prolong the game for various reasons rather than playing to win. Okay, so they're basing this on the fact that he had a bunch of money in the bank but wasn't maxed out. So, this, okay, now again, admins are good people and stuff, but this is a fuck up. This is a huge, like, this just shows that people don't understand the game at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to not understand the game, but why don't you ask someone that understands the game? Okay? He's sitting there, the map is cut in half, a velo has no money, there's no reason for him to spend all his money right now. Utilizing spells to win is how you win in the late game when there's no money on a map.
Mech versus mech,
Saving money to do things like repair or switch into units when you realize that these are the units that will actually beat you the game. This is actually the correct way to play in this position. So now the Riddler has a warning for playing correctly because there's all this drama. I'm sure that the fact that everyone's posting about it on Reddit and stuff had some influence. People are probably harassing these admins or something, but like, this is crazy. He shouldn't have a warning.
Well, you just went
Anyone
pure...
want to fight me on this one?
No, I mean, you just went pure logical on it. Like, I can't even get there because what stops me immediately is just, like, the sanctity of gaming in general. You take it to another game. So, like, in a game like Overwatch, if there's a guy who's, like, his thing is he goes Genji, and he's like, I'll only throw projectiles. That's all I'll do. And then someone's like, so, wow! Warning! The sword attack is the best way to do it. That's actually how you win the game, and that's how you help your team the most. You gotta stop throwing Chinese stars, you're out of here. Like, you can't actually do that. If someone makes it some distance into a series or into a competition, and like in StarCraft, it could be a thing where you do try to prolong it because you think your opponent could become mentally unhinged, or you think you're better in the late game, or you're like, I've done Raven versus Raven against this guy, I micro them better. You cannot get into the psyche of a player and be like, actually, we think you're just trying to prolong the game forever, like, and you just can't do that. Like, no, you just can't even begin to enter that argument unless a player like tweets, lol, I'm going to try and crush this tournament and delay everything so that people will be really mad. Then you go, wham, we got evidence that this guy's being a dick, now I'm gonna punish him. You cannot look at mech versus mech and be like, I think this guy's not really trying.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
The fact that they make this ruling, you're just so completely right. Like the fact that they make the ruling because he has money in the bank, maxed out in a situation where he's not being attacked and he doesn't need to max out. Maxing out would be the stupidest fucking thing you could do. Why would he max out here?
Yeah.
He has money. He can do things like repair and like when they do some more damage to each other, figure out what he actually needs to buy with his tiny limited resources left.
Yeah.
You know, you look at it, you're like, wow, like 5K, 3K, let's call it, right? And it's like, well, that's a ton of money, and you could be maxed out, and then you could finish it. And it's like, this is why you are not playing in this tournament, because you don't know anything about StarCraft.
It's tough.
He played correctly, and he has a warning, and it's crazy. And they should take the warning away. It's wrong that he has a warning.
Agreed. There was another warning issue. Were you aware of that one, Artosis?
Oh, I don't think I was, actually.
It was a multi-warning, so he was given a warning for what we just discussed, but then Avila was actually warned as well. And it actually says it right there in that tweet that Cobra so lovingly has there. It says Avila will receive a match loss in his next official WCS tournament for abusive chat. And then he goes on to talk about BMNS, which is apparently the name of a guy that was literally hacking in this qualifier. And yeah, this story is so good. It's all over. It's on Reddit. Cobra, if you don't have a thread, don't worry about it. And Cole Terran's in the thread. He was actually the guy commentating this whole thing, or not the thread, the chat. Excuse me. So what's up? But literally, this is. I don't usually, you know, I have this thing where if in the morning, I don't know if you did. Actually, I think you're a laugh out louder. I don't usually laugh out loud, like if I'm by myself, because you know I know something's funny, whatever. I raffle mayoed on this. Like I open this thread and the guy's like, "No, my friend doesn't hack. This team's really legitimate. We know him." And then it crosses out the whole paragraph and it just has edited in, he hacks. And then I scroll down and he actually point blank asks the guy, he's like, dude, these guys are calling you a hacker, what the fuck, man? And it was on Discord and he goes, oh yeah, I hack. He just says it. And the team kicks him out and he's like, yeah, I hacked XD or whatever. Yeah. Hacking's super rare, guys, by the way. It actually is. I'm not even being facetious. It's harder to do in StarCraft 2 right now.
Yeah.
There's less people doing it. They're not making as many hacks. But if you get out there and you really want to hack, you can. And this guy did, and he was caught. And I guess to his credit, when he was asked about it, he was like, yeah, I hacked. So he's banned. That's gone. But Avilo, and this is where it gets a little bit murky too, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, Dan. Avilo said a ton of really, you know, he was Avilo. He was I don't need to get into the details. He said a bunch of stuff. He accused a lot of people of hacking, including the Riddler. Then he took to Twitter saying the Riddler was having someone else plan his account. Like all these accusations over and over again. What makes it a little bit weird is he was not necessarily wrong about BMNS. I don't think maybe he made the accusation or not. But he calls a lot of people hackers, so that's what this warning essentially was, hey man, you keep doing this, your next match is a loss.
Yeah. Well, if you shoot a shotgun into the ocean long enough, you'll hit a fish. So, I guess he nailed. No, I just made that up.
I like it though. You just started something.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. So the hacker banned. Okay, yeah. He's a hacker, and this is like serious nowadays. But it's funny because people would hack in StarCraft 1 and a month later we forgive them. But this is StarCraft 2. There's serious money, there's a serious pro scene. Banned. Okay, get out of here. He admitted it and stuff. I guess that's cool. Like, that he's just like, all right. But I mean, okay. So I guess the real question is the Avilo like Nanner versus you know, being banned, well, he's not banned, right? He loses his next match. A match loss his next official WCS tournament for abuse of chat.
So whatever he signs up for, lost.
So he should just sign up for the next thing no matter what it is.
He has to get out of the way,
Yeah, it doesn't even matter, just like do it. Like, does that mean if he signs up for the open bracket in Austin, he auto gets a loss? And if so, does he have to show up to the tournament? I'm just wondering if there's like a sneaky way around this.
I don't know. I didn't dive that deep into it, but it does beg the very interesting question. I doubt he flies over to Austin for the open bracket and is handed like a little envelope that says thank you for showing up, but you lost. It might be double. I don't know.
Well, what do you think? Is this a good punishment for this?
Yeah, I think my full scope answer is Avilo gonna Avilo. So I would never say like he should be banned from the community. Nope, nothing like that. I think he's actually he's a you know, he's obviously a very energetic and kind of angry, ranty guy, but he streams to a large audience. He does care a shit ton. Even if he tries to tell you he doesn't, he absolutely does. And here's the funny thing, my anecdotal thing for this, and we'll get into the subject pretty soon, but in Nation Wars, his name was mentioned as like, you know, he wanted to run, so he puts his name in. And then people like made threads saying, absolutely, you should never be allowed, you cannot vote for him. It was kind of a weird, like, art imitates life moment where, you know, negative PR is still PR. So he won. Yeah. He got voted in, no question. And a large part of that was because so many people were trolling, of course, and voting for him because they thought it'd be funny to get him in there, but also because so many people were making such a big deal about not wanting it. So anyways, this is a long-winded way of saying Avilo is going to constantly keep trying to qualify for these things, and kind of part of his shtick is in that situation, he's going to say dumb shit because that's what gets him attention, that's what kind of gives him notoriety. He's not winning these qualifiers. He's not on a professional team. He's a good player by the standard of, you know, most people, but not a good player in pro standards. But we know about him, we talk about him, and he gets notoriety because of situations like this. So for him, this is a slap on the wrist, sure. Next time he's at a WCS, do you think he's not going to start yelling at people? Absolutely not. He will keep doing it until we get to, I don't know what the strike system is, but if there's like a third one and you're banned for life, I bet that's the one where he stops probably yelling at people. And you can make the choice for yourself whether or not you like that or not. It's just a, he is the heel of StarCraft 2. That's part of what goes on in this place.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he definitely adds some excitement. You can see how many threads get made about him weekly on StarCraft Reddit. You know, he's just, people are always happy to talk about him, and you know, he provides all this different drama. So there's definitely like, and the thing is, he has a popular stream. A lot of people like to watch him.
I watch
him. A lot of people sub to him and all this stuff. And you know, I've definitely seen some highlight clips that I thought were quite funny from his channel and stuff. So like, I mean, if that's the rules, then yeah, he gets a match loss. I don't really have any problem with it. The one thing I guess that pops into my mind is, if he had acted like this in Overwatch League, what would have happened to him? Because I'm seeing all the crazy stuff that, like, they're being really tight with that. Like, are they being lenient with Avilo, or is this tough on Avilo? Which do you think?
I think the crime fits the punishment. I mean, it is ridiculous to call everyone a hacker. I think that's ridiculous. But he's not, when he loses in a WCS match, I'm sure he said something kind of bad, but for the most part, it's not really. It's more just like, Protoss sucks, and this is so stupid, and what a dumb game. All dumb stuff that I personally really don't like, obviously, but he's got every right to say it. It's only been punished and stepped over the line when he starts accusing people of hacking, and punishment fits the crime. I mean, in Overwatch League, people are sending dick pics to 14-year-old, 21-year-old guys, so I think it's a little bit different, and if they only got temporary ban, would be really, really bad. One comment from the chat, Muktu was saying you're a part of the problem. You misunderstand, and this is actually a nice precedent for our show. We're going to talk about all the subjects, but also, I actually don't think Avilo is a problem. I think people's reaction towards how it's treated. I think you can go anywhere in life and over being irate, angry, or, you know, negative. Oof. If you do find this nice, let me know. It's supposed to be somewhere in the but I'll just tell you, like, Avilo's a part of this community. He's a guy that contributes a hell of a lot. It might not be the kind of way you like it, and if not, then don't watch. That's it. Yeah,
and I mean, I personally don't really watch him, but whatever. And I think that one thing, Jeff, that we should definitely make sure of is that we aren't afraid to talk about anything on the show as well. You know, it's kind of a cool thing because it's just our thing that we can talk about these subjects. We're not part of the problem, actually.
Agreed.
Humans should be able to talk about whatever they want. Free speech is cool.
Free speech is cool, and I think that's what. And Dan, you touched on it too, but I like that about us. You and I think you guys probably know us for this too, but we'll be honest to almost a fault. I think so. Yeah. Maybe we'll get in some trouble. Maybe I'll get my wrist slapped by Blizzard a few times, but I do want to bring the honest. We want to bring the honest truth as much as we can to you guys and discuss it with everybody. That kind of wraps that up. So there was some drama there. I think we touched on that subject really well. Like any subject, if you guys have anything to say, tweet at us, let us know, post in the thread on Team Liquid. We're gonna do a thing at the end where we talk with you guys in the chat and ask Q&A, but these subjects are interesting and I want to hear what you guys think. So moving on, next subject we have Nation Wars has been going on, and we just kind of want to touch on this and talk a little bit about it. Nothing too terribly specific unless Dan has something. But I just want to say it's a really cool event. I think it's awesome that O Gaming has been doing this for a few years. I know the Blizzard backed them up and really supported this on it. But Dan, what would have been your thoughts?
I mean, O Gaming's amazing, and love all those guys. Love Nation Wars. You know, Nation Wars were a big part in StarCraft 1, so it definitely holds a place in my heart. I guess that the two main things to talk about, because I mean, everyone's watching. Obviously, the Finland versus Germany was pretty sick and badass. But kind of more on this way that we've been talking so far this show, I'm kind of having fun with it. But like, for instance, Avilo being there, right? I guess the two subjects are like the voting system and how that works, and if there should be rules or should not be rules, and then also the fact that you revive someone for a nation, right? So you can have, for instance, Finland going super deep off of Cyril or something like that. So those are kind of the two interesting ones. I think we should start with the voting one, because again, it does bring up a deal that we were already kind of talking about. Like, remember last year there was Nathanius, and it's an interesting thing, right? Because it's a popularity contest, and a lot of the top players are very popular, and people want to see them play, so they definitely get voted in. But there are some other players that it's more of just like, oh, you're famous, right? Like, everyone wants to see Nathanius. He gets voted in that year. He actually got a lot of shit for it that I thought was undeserved, completely undeserved. But there's an interesting other point, because I think probably share a similar view on this, that it's just fine, because it's like, this is a fun event. Like, let people vote in who they want to watch play, and that includes Avila, and that includes Nathanius last year. But a specific man very close to my heart and yours, Rotterdam. I had a long talk with him about this. I believe in Katowice, so I guess you weren't there, but because he decided not to enter, right? And Roddy's really good at StarCraft 2. But the thing is, there's three Dutch people better than him, and there's only 3 spots. So there's Parston, Euthermal, and Optimus. And Roddy might be the 4th best or 5th best Dutch guy. And so he's like, no, I'm not going to enter. I'm like, Roddy, people would love to see you play. I would tune into every Roddy match, man, and just like, and he'd win games, and he wouldn't be a dead weight on the team or anything like that. But and the thing is, I totally respect this. Is he wants Netherlands to do the best it possibly can, and he recognizes he is not one of the top 3 players, so he doesn't want to play because he just wants his country to do well. And I mean, I respect that and all. But would the tournament be better with Roddy? I think it would. Like, if Roddy's playing in that? Yeah. Am I wrong here?
No, I think it's interesting. I think it's how you talk about this is the interesting framing for this, because both have merit. I think a team is more interesting and exciting, and I too would watch a lot more if Roddy was a part of that squad. I watched the Nathanius matches because of the intrigue of that. People were really pulling for him to get that good game against these top tier pros, or to do really well. But like you said, and this needs to be put out there, Nate for a while was really turned off to even streaming ladder and putting himself out there because of how much shit he got for that. Now, you have to have thick skin, and it's not like people are at his doorstep like, Nathanius, get outside or I'm gonna fight you. There's nothing that bad, but when people are getting at you from different angles, and you get it anyways because you're an online personality, it gets to be too much. So my take on this is, I think it's an identity crisis. The league kind of needs to come out and just be like, look, the voting system is who you want. It's not a top tier meant to be the best players. It's meant to be whoever the hell you want, which I think it kind of naturally defaults to when it just is ran the way it is. But I would like, because I believe it ends up becoming exactly like Dan just said, it's not Nation Wars, it's a guy from a Nation Wars. So like Cyril is carrying his team, Neeb is carrying Team America, Harstem is carrying the Dutch team with some help. It does create cool storylines where, like, I believe what team was it? It was Poland that lost despite having several good players. Like, some of these results are kind of cool, but like, you know, Mexico has become a lot better because it's not just special. So there is cool storylines in this tournament. It's still fantastic, but I wish it was like 4 or 5 guys and there was like a rule, like one of them is called the mascot and they have to play a limited, at least like 3 matches. Something where it gets to be a little bit more of a clear idea of what we're getting out of this, and I also understand why you wouldn't do that, because at the end they invite these rosters out. By the way, they fly them out to France, and it's you know, if it's a team of 5 or 4 people, it gets to be very expensive. Sometimes one guy can't make it, and that kind of sinks the scheduling for the whole thing. So there are reasons behind the scene why this is not the case. I think Dan and I are wish listing for next year. I want a Nathanius on the North American team. I want Rotterdam on that Dutch team, because I think you're right. I think he literally is the 4th best guy in that country, and I would watch all their matches, and I think it would be better for the event.
Yeah, I think so. And we have so much serious space stuff in StarCraft. Right? StarCraft 2 is all about esports. It's all about having the best players all the time. There's so many tournaments everywhere, right? There's like great base trade stuff even. There's the Challenger League. There's the actual WCS events, ESL, right? There's just all the top players are getting to play absolutely everywhere. We don't actually have a lot of really great kind of fun side stuff. I mean, we have a little bit here and there. Obviously, that is 20 stuff, but it's going to be 20 more years before we have that again. You know, I mean, I like your idea, like some sort of compromise. Maybe there's like a mascot match, and those two have to play each other at the beginning or something, right? And then like whoever wins gets to play a pro next, or I mean, that could be cool and fun, because at the same time, I look at this, right? And USA could have done better than it did with a better team. But for me, for instance, I really like M. Canning. I think that he's hilarious. He's a good skill too. Is he top 3 USA? Probably not quite top 3, but he's very good, right? So it's nice to watch his matches on there. Obviously, Avila has a lot of fans trying to watch him and stuff. But right there you have it. Like, some of the USA guys have bigger personalities overall, so they get voted in more likely. So USA does more poorly than the countries that are trying to be serious face about it, where none of the personalities are entering in, right? Like, Loco has a bunch of fans. He could have entered in. Maybe he would have been voted into the Dutch team. But I don't know. The thing is, I respect the decision of someone like Roddy, but at the same time, I feel like for me personally, that could have made the event more fun to watch. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's a wide range of opinions. No one's really wrong on anything here, except for the people who are giving shit to someone like Nathanius last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's last year. I'm sorry if I'm opening up those wounds for you, Nate, but it was just so BS. And I remember I was like watching like all of his games basically. You know, it's just kind of makes it fun to see some of these guys compete in an actual, you know, competitive thing.
Absolutely agreed. And you know, that's just our take on it, but I do want to say it's amazingly well received. I think they're doing a great job. I love the desk, the atmosphere they have. They have a fantastic group of people doing it. Funk has been commentating the hell out of it. He's actually a sick hype commentator, which is crazy because he's like a very mediocre observer. So like for him to turn out to be a pretty good commentator is just crazy.
I know, right? He's gonna be running DreamHack for you now. So.
Well, yeah. He'll take over. Like the AWC has like a little flame that controls that. No, we're just kidding, of course. They're doing cool to see her there too. Like, there's been a nice like ascension of Zombie Grub. She's been a fantastic online commentator, but this I would say about a year ago she made the push to start doing bigger events and was given the shot, and she delivered. It's great. Yeah. I love the diversity of StarCraft. A little bit of that.
Yeah, it's quite nice. And, it's always just so wonderful to just have nation wars going on. Anyways, to have a little glimpse of this thing that I remember very fondly and seeing which country can do better. But I think what you said before is a good idea. Maybe coming out with an actual identity, whether they want it to be serious space, right? Or like they only put the top 5 ladder guys for each country in the poll or something, or anyone can sign up and kind of. It would be nice to have O-Gaming maybe come out and say specifically how they want this done, and what they think is best for it, so that things like, because again, it's like, you know, USA is weaker than it needs to be, but it's also more fun to watch than the other teams. So,
I think and just to wrap it up, guys, in the spirit of this show and us oversharing even. I do want to say, so for you guys to just put this little bit of flavor in there for you guys, the O-Gaming crew is notorious in esports for copious amounts of drinking, and then they are European, so there's been a lot of fornicating as well. So just put that in the back of your mind. They're a little bit loose over there in the dirty France, and let that flavor. So when you see, because some of my favorite moments in StarCraft and in esports history are when the chat and the community doesn't quite know what's going on, but they speculate. There was one time Idra had to commentate a EG and match, and he had this really severe black eye, and I think he told people like he fell over or whatever. But what I love about esports is there's so bad. He fell out of bed and woke up too early to get out here and commentate this thing. He's such a good guy. He actually was shrooming in pre-Home Story Cup. He experimented with some drugs, and guys, it's legal. It's totally fine to talk about this. And he apparently had such a terrible allergic reaction to it. He sneezed so hard and so rapidly that he popped and blew blood vessels in his eye socket, like in his eyeball. There's blood red in his eye socket because he had such a bad reaction to it. And people are like, "Hey, Greg, he's out there, he's so tired, he's beat up, and he's just to withstand his injuries and keep going." Anyway, so that's just a little bit of a flavor out there. Is there a story?
Yes! Glorious!
Glorious! In France? Yeah, there are, but who aren't there stories like that?
I'm on fire! Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Don't play now.
Thank you for that, Jeff. One more thing on Nation Wars, I don't know. The fact that you can revive a player. Is this a good thing, a bad thing? What do you think about that?
It's hard. I think with this small roster, I understand why. It's because otherwise a match could be in danger of lasting like 25 minutes or whatever. I think competition-wise, I don't like it because it inevitably becomes 100% Neeb revived, and Cero revived, and Innovation revived, and Special revived. Like, it's the exact same one guy. I think that'd be an interesting stat that nobody wants to see on the side of Nation Wars of, like, how much revived diversity has there been. My argument would be it's maybe happened on, like, the Korean team and probably nothing else ever. Maybe Mexico, because Cham and Special are very close in that way, but I would tell you that I guess the stat is something in the ballpark of 100 to 90%. It's the same guy every time. And that's an indication that, is that fun? Is it cool to do that? Because they're not even a final boss anymore. It's like a Final Fantasy final boss where they're like, "You've defeated me in my human form. Now I'm in a squid monster form." And you're like, "Oh, cool, he's back." And then the other team has a revive too, and it's the same guy again, so it ends up being kind of weird. That's Nation Wars. You guys should check it out. As the graphics showed earlier, they're going to have their offline finals April 21, I believe it is. So make sure and tune in for that. And we'll be talking about that in the 1 week before that, I guess. Next topic, we got two more for you guys, and then we're going to open up to that Q&A real quick. And this topic's a little bit... it's a hard one because this is more of a rant and complaint from Dan and I. This show is a StarCraft show. We want to talk about StarCraft 2, and we want to talk about StarCraft Remastered. But one of the topics right now, we're going to start off the show this way, beyond it. And there is things to talk about, but this topic is called, there's not that much to talk about. There's no real there's no events announced. There's no show matches really. I mean, there are, and this is my favorite part too. Is every time I'm like, there's not that much StarCraft Remastered going on. Someone's like, now hold on, okay? Jane Dawson is doing a bi-monthly $10 show match on this. No. What we're talking about is when StarCraft Remastered came out, I was hoping for a TSL. I was hoping for a Blizzard announced event, which they say is coming. So hopefully there is one. I was hoping for something to happen where I could tune into Team Liquid every day and not see Korean streaming and then a couple of guys streaming to 45 people, but rather tournaments and robust and cool stuff. Yeah. So this is a kind of a weird thing and something that really frustrates me about esports. How many years has it been now that every new game that comes out, everyone jumps on it? It's an esport. Every league picks it up. Everyone gives it because everyone's looking, for that diamond in the rough that's going to be this huge game, the next League of Legends or Counter-Strike or whatever the hell it is, right? Every game that comes out, this happens, and there's just tons of tournaments and tons of tournaments and tons of tournaments. And this didn't happen with StarCraft Remastered, which is funny because some of these games and here's the thing, for instance, Rocket League is actually pretty darn big and people really like it. It seems like it's going to be a successful esport,
right?
Yeah.
It's cars hitting soccer balls, man, and they're like, and I mean it's cool. I'm not hating on Rocket League.
Yeah.
I know, and it looks like if I like soccer or cars, I probably would really like the game.
Yeah.
But like,
it's worse than that, though, Dan. It's worse than that, because like, obviously we're gonna pat our own backs here, but the events that we did had good numbers, guys. And to go back to what we were talking about earlier, they were advertised horrifically. They were kind of last minute. We did not have all the best players. We did not have all the biggest personalities. We had some of them. And still, the channel was at 35,000. People were sitting there and watching StarCraft Remastered for 8 hours. And I think there's this weird fear where people are like, it's an old game, so all the audience is going to be like, what is this? Archaic gaming. But none of that. People were like, oh, I fucking love this. I remember it from high school. Oh my god, I'm so glad they're doing this. So do I think... and that's the part that boggles my mind, Dan. It'd be one thing if we did those events and there was like 500 people watching and it sucked. Then I'd be like, okay, it's moved on. It apparently is not what it needs to be. Okay, I get it. And then the people that have been following it and watching can continue to love it. But I was hoping for... And there still is hope, guys. It's just that we're at that point where I'm going to start ranting and I'm going to start poking people with sticks because, and I'm going to come out and say it, I do hold Blizzard responsible. There's a giant question mark even in their camp. Every time we talk to them, they're like, even with this show, one of the road bumps we hit is we're like, we want to talk about StarCraft every week, and they're like, is there enough StarCraft to talk about every week? And I was like, that's your own game. I was like, but
trust me, we can talk about StarCraft every week.
Yeah,
this is not an issue.
In fact,
if I was your neighbor, you would have to change or something because I would be like, hey, Jeff, hey, you want?
And it would be upset for sure. Before you go, Dan, real quick, because people in the chat are like, what about SSL? What about ASL? What about these things? Guys, I'm not saying there's no Brood War. Listen, don't take this and hear me saying there is no Brood War. Why isn't there no Brood War? I'm saying I wish there was more, and I hope nobody in the chat could possibly think there's an argument against that.
So, okay, like a couple things, right? There were, again, the fact that every game that comes out, it feels like if there's any way to play it against another human, right? We've seen esports tournaments pop up. The fact that we're not getting any, and back to what you said, like if you look at the views that we've had on the events that we've done, now the one thing that I do have to say is you have to have a channel that's developed, right? This is like a weird thing that I think Twitch hadn't necessarily planned on, but regular social media doesn't work that well anymore. Facebook kind of sucks nowadays, and like Twitter isn't as popular as it once was, right? So it's hard to get people to go to a stream that's not as popular. Like, for instance, Zotac did a great job putting on a really nice tournament. That was actually a really good tournament, but their Twitch channel wasn't that big, and we just didn't get the views. But it was the same thing as the other events. But as soon as you put us on the StarCraft channel, you put us on, you know, the Day 9 TV channel, stuff like that, bam, the views go crazy.
Yep.
And I think that if you compare, now I don't have the stats on this, but from my knowledge, which is more than all the guys in the chat, so you don't need to necessarily question too much. If you look at the budget for these events that we've had StarCraft Remastered at, budget to views, and you compare that to anything in StarCraft 2, I think that it's done better. I don't know. Someone can do the math and get back to me.
It's actually crazily comparable, at least. And I do know, to play devil's advocate a little bit, I do know that part of the argument, I think the reason why, even as you saw with Holiday Bash and at the StarCraft 20 event, it does make more sense financially for Blizzard to push StarCraft 2 versus StarCraft, because that's the game they're more likely to get new players and to rope in lifelong people, as opposed to StarCraft Remastered. The problem I have with that, to argue with myself right now, which is literally what's happening in real time, is that is true, but I think you can actually still get a different audience, which is economically viable and beneficial. Like, the people that would be really interested and stoked and awesome and tuning in to a StarCraft Remastered event are not necessarily an exact crossover of the people that watch StarCraft 2. Our WCS audience and our StarCraft Remastered audience are different people.
And if you can monetize and advertise and appease a different audience with your game for, like Dan said, less effort and less money, you should fucking do that. You should really do that.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think so. It's really surprising me that nothing has occurred. Nothing. Like, I swear to God, if DreamHack wants to announce an official StarCraft 1 tournament with a few $1,000 prize pool, I will fly there. I will play in it, I will commentate it, I will do everything.
Same here.
Like, yeah. But no one is doing this.
Yeah. And
there's just nobody.
So you talked about this like, with the LAN thing? That to me is because esports is still a little bit the Wild West, where like any money you have, you don't really do an appeasement thing, or you don't do a like, I think this will be well received thing. I think you have to, at least this is the belief, you have to invest it into, you know, what are our investors talking about? They're talking about Fortnite, they're talking about PUBG. If I'm not doing one of those things, where's that money going? Well, then we're taking a risk on the new thing that's like that, that's going to possibly blow up. Because like the 19th thing is, it'd be kind of fun to run a StarCraft Remastered event. And that's, I say that, guys, not because I'm like proud or I think that that's true, but I believe that to be the mentality. I think that's the business mindset in esports.
Yeah, business mindset in esports, I think, is kind of a bit of a problem. Like, okay, it seems like all the games are being made everywhere to make games that are worth like $1 billion, right? And have loot boxes or card packs or gun skins or whatever. A lot of games are very team-based that are being made, and you can kind of blame other people when you lose. They aren't as high skill cap as they used to be. I mean, I dare anyone to try to counter anything I'm saying here. This is kind of the way everything's going, and everything seems to be pushed so much by money, and in turn, obviously, views, because you want high viewership, so you get more people playing, you get more people spending money, things like this. And the thing is, like, I mean, this has been going on for a long time, but can this continue forever? Can we just always be making games easier and better at sucking money out of people? Like, the thing is, you look at it, StarCraft Brood War started esports, straight up, like professional esports. Like Counter-Strike was around, tournaments and stuff, right? So I don't want to not give, you know, credit where it's due. But like StarCraft is such a big deal with that. And if you look at the actual skill caps of these games, how hard these games are to play, what players can show off that's super impressive and stuff.
I know.
StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, it's incomparable how much harder and better these games are. And the fact that StarCraft 1, like, this is the most mechanically demanding game that there is, and it's complex as hell, and it's amazing for many, many different reasons. And like, if everything is always going to be like, well, we need to make the most money, and this isn't just on Blizzard, this is on like everyone. It's like, shouldn't eventually humans go back to wanting to make a quality show that's like, you know, it's like, well, you know, this isn't the $1 billion idea, perhaps, or you know what, maybe it ends up being it because people want to be good at games again and want to enjoy the hardest games again. But like, it just seems to me that this way that things are going can't continue forever, and eventually we should have a return. You know, like, people are starting to not use Facebook anymore, right? Why is this? It's a time suck. Yeah, they steal your information or whatever, but like, it's kind of like this same thing. People are starting to figure out that, like, oh shit, we're looking at our phones too much, right? Like, this is like a general movement. People are starting to eat kale. They're like, oh damn, I can't just eat burgers all the time. Like, there should be a return to quality eventually. You know, and within esports as well, I would say. Like, and this is a great game to have for it. And I don't know, man. It's just, it's crazy to me that nobody is even trying to do anything with it. It's heartbreaking. If we had even one tournament, the entire scene would be lit up. And the thing is, there's great things within the scene. Okay, BSL, fantastic. The Have At Yous and all these little tournaments and stuff. You guys are doing a great job keeping it together for everybody. But I just wish in esports, company, someone would actually look at it and be like, this is the founder of esports. We might be able to do something with the highest skill cap mechanical game ever made.
Yeah.
With the longest history. It's like, it has a lot of things going for it. I don't know.
It won't happen, but imagine like a home strike cup of just StarCraft Brood. That's that land
I
thing.
know.
That would be amazing.
God, it would be so good.
So I do want to clean up a couple things here, and this is actually like repeating it, but I know that otherwise, what I'm doing, Dan, is I'm scalping out like 3 pages of hate on Team Liquid, so bear with me. But like, there are Brood War events, guys. I know that. The chat was filling it up. Yes, please hear us. We're specifically saying we wish it was at bigger events and bigger fish were taking it on and getting excited about and putting on events. We're not trying to hate or say that there's nothing going on. You guys, like Dan just said, are doing a great job. We're wishing there was more. So that being said, moving forward, we're always going to be committed to reporting and talking about StarCraft Remastered, so those SSLs or the events that are going on, we will talk about that. We'll talk about matches. Dan's been laddering it a lot. I'm going to start joining him and get back into that swing as well. So we'll talk about our experience, and there will be a StarCraft Remastered presence on the show. And I put Tim on the spot at the StarCraft 20 event and asked him point blank on camera with like 40,000 people watching. And he said that he can't promise anything, obviously, that's not his job to do that, but he said that Blizzard plans on doing something with StarCraft Remastered in the area of some kind of tournament. So that'll be exciting. I think what Dan and I would always say is we would hope that that kind of thing would get announced and put out there earlier so people can start practicing, getting excited, and like, if they're like, Jeff, Dan, you guys gotta fly yourself to the Bahamas to play in this tournament, guess what?
Done.
Buy a fucking ticket, yeah. We'll do that.
I literally promise if there is an event at BlizzCon or my brother's wedding or something like that, and it's a legit event, I will be there. I'll play, I'll commentate, I'll do anything. Like I want this game to get its moment again, because it never really got it before for a lot of reasons. You know, back in the day, it was reasons like it wasn't the newest RTS, so it didn't sell the graphic cards, which were the sponsors for everything. Right, and so Warcraft 3 got all the events, and Brood War got nothing. And it was like sad because it was, you know, there's 20 War 3 pros, and there's like 1 million StarCraft guys. One argument I do want to bring up, this one argument that I get told every time for my whole life, like for 20 years now, I've been hearing the same type of it. Everyone tells me non-Koreans don't like this game, don't want to watch this game. Nick and I lobbied at Afrika TV. It used to be GOM TV, right? We lobbied for years, for so long, to be able to cast in English some StarCraft 1. This was before Remastered was ever announced or anything.
Yeah, of course.
We were lobbying for it, and they kept telling us, non-Koreans don't watch this. Non-Koreans don't watch this. I moved to Korea in 2008 to do StarCraft 1 stuff. StarCraft 2 hadn't been announced. Right? I don't think it was announced. Maybe it was announced that point.
I don't think so.
But anyways, I moved over there, and the thing is, the biggest StarCraft site in the world by miles was TeamLiquid.net. It was much bigger than all the Korean sites, way more views. You know, it just, that's a fact. I know that as a fact. That's the way it was back then, even in the time of Brood War. And okay, so like for instance, we lobbied at Afrika to be able to do StarCraft 1, and we kept getting told no one will watch it. They're like, we promise they will. Guess how many viewers we got the very first time we commented on Twitch? 17,000 concurrent viewers. Don't tell me people won't watch this stuff. Yeah, at that hour of the day, 17,000. And the thing is, like, you know, this is one of the little caveats, is that things have to be on popular channel on Twitch, because no one watches like unseen channels yet, it seems. But yeah, don't tell me that foreigners don't like it. I think that absolutely non-Korean people can enjoy this game quite a bit.
Yeah. No, it's
let us explain it to them and show off the skills of these players. And I don't know. I could soapbox about this for a long time. I'm passionate about both StarCrafts, and I love where StarCraft 2 is at. I'm having a great time with it, playing it daily. It's a fun game. It's got tons of tournaments. It's just, I look at StarCraft 1, I'm like, this is an equally great game with even more history and stuff. Can we do something? And it seems like the entire esports world says, no, Artosis, we can't do anything with that.
No, and that's the crazy part too, is like, not to keep going too full circle about this, but like, when we did these events, I don't know, maybe there was a legitimate fear that watching such an old game would be uninteresting to people, but our audience, it didn't go 5,000 then down to 2 and people were like, oh, they're playing that garbage game, I'm out of here. It stayed and kept going higher and higher, and the comments in the matches and stuff were just people really enjoying it, be like, man, I can always watch Brood War. And everyone would say the same thing, which is really funny. They'd be like, I suck at this game, but I really like watching people play it. And it's like, it's there. Anyways, that's our soapbox. Hopefully someone out there listening, because we're not gonna shut up about it, by the way. We're gonna keep saying that.
We never shut up.
Well, that's... so we'll cover more Brood War in the future. It won't just be whining. And like I said, we're gonna be playing. Dan's actually looking to start hosting a practice night with a lot of our big friends, and that'll be streamed on his channel. You'll get to hear us talking in Discord and hanging out. So some of the people like Nyokin and G5, Machine, myself, you,
LZ Gamer, I think.
LZ Gamer.
We'll get as many as the old guys back together. I know we did it once. Man, that was like the most fun ever, man. So yeah, definitely gonna try to make that a very regular thing, like a weekly thing with all of us. Whenever people are traveling, we'll do it, obviously.
Yep. It'll be hard to do, you know, like we used to, because we used to just sit in our not have as much responsibility. But the point is, you kind of look forward to that when you start making that kind of content. So that wraps up the StarCraft Remaster discussion. We're going to go to one more topic, and then we're going to end with that Q&A. So Dan, you guys have been commentating in Korea. Do you want to just regale us with a little bit of what you thought with the Super Tournament and whatnot?
Oh, I mean, the Super Tournament was great, once again. I guess probably should bring up that bracket, but, you know, we had Stats end up winning it. It's kind of funny, like, we've had a lot of tournaments in the past 6-8 months, something like that. And as far as Koreans go, we have really got the top tier players kind of nailed down, and they just keep nailing the top of every tournament. Like, look at the actual results here, right? So Stats wins, Dark gets second, we have Classic up there and Hero up there, and then you got like Maru right below. Like, these are the guys that are at the top of every tournament in the world right now. So it's kind of cool to see that happening. Super tournaments always a lot of fun and stuff. I guess, you know, people already watched the games, so we don't need to go over them too much individually, but I don't know, it's just, I kind of like it when this happens, when we have like really consistent tiers of pros, and then you can sometimes see people go between them, right? And,
it's a little bit of a different thing. I think StarCraft 2 audiences don't get this as much. It definitely is like a Brood War thing where people hit this tier, this class, and the story became they're pretty unstoppable, they are the best, and it was celebrated. I think in StarCraft 2 it's definitely not demonized per se, but it's more of a 50-50 mix between people who are like, wow, that guy's so good, and then the other 50 of like, his race is broken, he's an idiot, I don't like him, his games are terrible. There's like a lot of that, in particular if they're Protoss. But Stats seem to kind of hit that stride where he's just kind of quietly doing that. He just beat Dark again, and it's doing well. One of the ones that I kind of thought was interesting, because I need to change my mindset on this, but True did okay, actually, just narrowly losing to Dark. I think of True as like, and this is, like I said, this is me needing to change my mindset. I think of him as like a pretty cheesy, kind of bad Korean pro gamer, but that was like, that's like an old thing. Like he definitely is still cheesy, but like his results are starting to get pretty damn good. He is a very good player. He's just so like frumpy and friendly and nice, and then his play style is just I don't know, he doesn't like destroy people with mechanics, he just wins games, so it's kind of funny, but he did great, did well.
Yeah, he's a very interesting player to have in tournaments, and it's kind of neat that he's coming back to Korea in a lot of ways, right? He went with Sidestorm Gaming and moved over to North America for a while, and like had to drop out of a Code S at that point, but he was a Code S Zerg that definitely means quite a bit. Obviously he won that first event, what was that, Montreal, I believe? He like lost like a map or 2 maps to both clouds and everyone else. But then he kind of like fell off, and now he's back in Korea and actually doing quite well. So I don't know. Maybe it seems like his skill deteriorated. Also getting better, so I don't want to go that far, but it looks like he's definitely a very fun player to watch. and it was kind of funny. I don't know if you saw his actual interview before his. Okay, before his round of 8, before the round of 8, there was an interview, right? Because he had beaten, and it was actually a pretty good series. Trust is quite underrated right now, doing well. And it was a messy series because True, like, he brings you down in the dirt, man. Like, he's trying to get Zerglings in your base. He's baneling busting. Like, he's a dirty player in a lot of ways. And like during his interview, his whole interview was basically him being like, the casters were saying mean I went back and watched the VODs. The casters were saying mean things about me. All the Korean netizens were really being rude. I hope to show, you know, quality play here tonight, but I'm really kind of sad. it was like this heartbreaking thing because it's like, well, all these people talking shit. It's like he's way better than you. Whatever. He's in Super Tournament. TY's not in Super Tournament. The True is.
Yeah.
It was
that's a hard part of being a pro gamer. Not that we need to go into that whole conversation, but it's like I suffered a lot of losses in my StarCraft 2 career in particular, and there's a weird thing where you know you shouldn't read the comments, you know you shouldn't be checking the threads, especially if you lost, but a lot of people do, and I did for sure, and I would go read it, and people are like, God, this guy's a fucking clown, he's terrible, and I hate him, and you read that, and you're just like, oh, like it just guts you. But I think people read it because they're still looking for that person who's like, you know what, I'm so entertained, it was such a great match, and you're like, oh, that's it, that's good. It's hard to do.
That's what I was looking for.
So that's Super Tournament. If you guys enjoyed it and liked it, let us know about it. So that's going to do it for our subjects today. We're going to move into a Q&A where if you guys think there's something you want us to talk about, we'll take a few of the comments from the chat and we'll yap about it for a little bit. While I'm waiting for you guys to catch up to that, I'm going to wrap up by saying a couple things. I know that there is Dan's mic is cutting in and out a little bit. That could be because he's in Korea and internet, or it could be my internet. I don't know. It's not something worth mentioning a whole bunch in the chat. My favorite image is always like someone, like I'm just like hitting a button, like mute Dan, whatever. Yeah, we're dropping a few frames and stuff. Whatever. We don't know. The point is, like,
we'll get it all fixed up. This is the first time.
We'll figure it out. Or we won't. It'll just be something that always happens. I don't know. We'll see. And then lastly, as your guys' questions are coming in, the way we want to do this is just go ahead and like at me or at Dan. Dan's looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat. We'll pull some out there. We'll talk a little bit about it. Some will get missed. We're sorry. We're only going to talk about a few of these. And while you guys are doing that, I'll end my sellout spiel for the end. We'll do that. Dan, do you see anything you want to talk about in there, buddy?
All right, let me take a look.
Does Dan actually use that skateboard?
God, it's really oh, I just started. Well, I got the skateboard last summer, and because I've been wanting to learn how to skateboard for a few years, so my wife bought it for me, and I started learning. And then it became winter, so I didn't go outside and work because Korea's cold. But now it's getting warm again, so I'm gonna start practicing again.
Could happen.
Yeah.
Dan used to be an athlete, guys. He played basketball. He
Firstborn shall
it's better in the future, by the way. I realize I'm like, just ask questions, and then there's just like, there's 1,200 of you, so in the future I'll find a way to, Cobra, Dan, and I will work out a way to do this better.
Yeah, there might be a good way to do this within, we're going to have a Discord that we'll link you guys to later. We're going to clean it up a little bit. We kind of already pre-made Thanks, Cobra.
Dan, do you think Flash is going to win ASL this season as well?
Yeah, of course. He's by far the best player.
Stupid question. Get out of our... Get at... No, I'm just kidding.
Combat away.
We'll have to talk more about ASL in one of these future weeks. I got some good topics for that with the maps and stuff.
Thoughts on GSL groups real quick again? Yeah,
oh, that's not a bad one. That's right. They just released... Here's the GSL groups. Alright, ready for all this? Hold on a second, guys. You have any other questions?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Research.
SC2 balance below GM, does it even matter? No. It doesn't. You guys are making so many, I mean, and myself included, we're all making so many mistakes that the idea of balance being anything you should concern yourself with is silly.
Yeah, and truth be told, like at the top level, obviously it matters more at the top level. But you can find a lot of mistakes in people's play at the top level a lot of the time.
Yep.
And the places that you can find, the easiest places to find and balance, just a side note that I've found, if it is a very sharp attack, at a very specific timing, that's one place that you can find imbalance, and then supreme laking is one place you can find imbalance. Everything else is very difficult because there's so many moving pieces that can be changed to change how you're doing in that. So yeah, it's stuff like supreme laking, like storm host, right? It's like, oh, okay, this is imbalanced. Like Protoss tried everything they could do and they couldn't. Right? It's like, okay, figure it out. But if you're a lower level, just practice because you're bad, and there you are. Get better. All right, so we click on code S. Then we have the groups down there.
Someone said, what animal does Artosis keep in his mouth while he's playing StarCraft? Is it a grasshopper or a mouse? Goldfish.
It's definitely not a goldfish.
Don't be silly.
Keep a baby hamster in there. Alright. Oh, there's some sick groups in there, actually. Do we have this here? Let me reel it.
You can never take this long on another question again, by the way.
Glory to the
Which are we talking about? The code S question?
Still pulling up the group.
I have met the end.
I have it all up. You just scroll down a little bit. What do you think, Jeff? What is the group here?
No, I'm not.
Damn, get out of here.
We're dropping a lot of wrecks, guys. That's on my side this time, sorry.
That's not too good. Anyways, real quick on the code S thing. Group G, Pure, Impact, TY, that's pretty sick. And then Group E kind of stands out. Stats, Emotion, Beal, and Rogue. And actually, Group F is pretty crazy. Poor Xanster's been there with Mari, Bunny, and Beer. So those are some wild groups.
Pretty wild.
Glorious combat is upon us.
Alright, we'll grab like one or two more guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad it's on your end, but yeah. My friends dropped a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Well, this is the first go, so.
Yeah. It's the first go. Yes. It turns out Nathanius ratted out a Muslim. And it was the Muslim. Kind of unceremonious.
It was the Muslim?
Yeah,
really?
Apparently. And he just, I guess in the thread he said outed. So that's confirmation.
Damn. Because I heard some people start saying it was you, Jeff.
I know. That's funny. I lived with Greg for like 2 years there or whatever. 3 years. It's only when Huck was there that I got accused of eating a pork chop, I guess. Alright. So let me grab one more. This guy keeps asking us.
Okay, what is it?
Please, Dan, comment on the consistency of Alive the last couple years. Please.
Well, I mean, he is consistent. He's a very good player. It's a bit suspect at times. You know, he's good. He works hard. I don't know what you want. You know, he's just the thing is, yeah, he's pretty consistent. He's consistently in the middle of the pack. And occasionally he has a good showing, occasionally he has a bad showing. So for me, he's not really the most exciting guy to talk about. But he's good. We'll have a cleaner one next time with the Q. Especially.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, we'll organize the Q&A better so that we can. I realized asking 1,200 people just randomly ask questions might have been a bad idea. Only after I did it. So they'll be learning.
Well, how else do you learn? Common sense isn't common sense.
Dan said some really good stuff there. Might cut out.
Oh damn.
So here's the part where I give the spiel. So Dan, are you casting after, or are you streaming after this?
Yeah. Yes. I'll turn on my stream.
Okay, so Dan's gonna stream. I'm going to host him. But this is where I tell you guys, this show is not sponsored. We are not paid to do this. And that means that if you are enjoying this content, if you believe in it, if you think this is something you'd like to see more of, please do consider clicking that follow button. This show will be on Dan's YouTube. Make sure and check out his YouTube. Dan's going to stream after this, so if you've got the inclination, the time, and the money, please consider subscribing to him. Please subscribe here. If you can't do any of those things or you don't want to, do not feel bad. That does not mean anything bad about you. It just means consider it in the future or do what you can. So when we tweet this out, make sure and tweet it. When there's threads about it, make sure and talk about it. You don't even have to say you like it. You can say, I don't fucking like it. Okay, cool. You're posting the thread. I appreciate that.
What the fuck?
There are ways to support us, and there are ways to make sure that this kind of content is something that we think is worth pursuing. And as long as you guys are enjoying it and supporting it, we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and it's going to be, yeah, you already said it's going to be on my YouTube, right? We're also doing it podcast. It's going to be up just the audio version. You know, on like iTunes, and I think Cobra said maybe SoundCloud or something like that.
Well,
so
yeah, there's a thread on Reddit and Team Liquid that has all of that linked, and then the Pylon Show on Twitter is mostly controlled by Cobra, and he's doing a great job of being responsive. So if you have any questions about how SoundCloud, all that kind of stuff works, it'll be there. You can of course reach out to us. We'll do it as well. And speaking of Cobra too, by the way, our dream is that the show does well enough that we pay Cobra to be the producer, which I'm gonna do anyways, but I just mean pay him more. So just kind of keep that stuff in mind. And also, now we give our shout outs. I'll go first, Dan. I want to give a shout out to Cobra, the Dark Furs, the Chat Utopian mods, a lot of these guys, and you guys for tuning in. These people put in a lot of work. We've been working on this a while, but Cobra's been actually fucking crushing it and making sure this thing went on. This is also the first time he's produced a show that I'm aware of. He might have some kind of weird porn history or something like that. I don't think so, but maybe. And I think he did a pretty damn good job, and we're all going to get better at it. But I think for a first go, I was expecting this to just turn off halfway through, and we're like, okay, well, hey, it was the first show. It's okay. Yeah. So that didn't happen. So shout out to him. Dan, do you have any shout outs?
No, just what you said here. Definitely make sure to check out my next broadcast, other than just my live stream, will be on Sunday, ASL. Sunday KST. So finish up that round of 8 this next week and march towards that final. See if Flash can take the 4th in the row. And we'll talk about that some next week as well.
And he is playing Terran, right? He didn't go through with I'm playing a different race.
No, he's playing Terran, which is actually much harder than playing the other races because of what they did with the map pool. But we're going to talk about that next week, I think, because that's a fun subject.
Very good. All right, guys. Well, I'm off to Burbank tomorrow to be commentating the WCS Challenger with Fear Dragon and Nathaniel, so I'll be on stream there. Dan's got a broadcast on Sunday, and this show will return this coming Wednesday, same time, same place. And just to put it out there one more time, we're going to remain as consistent as we possibly can, but we will miss episodes. Please don't hate us, but please don't start talking about how it's gone forever. We want to do this. We're here. And hope you guys will enjoy it. That's it for us. Thank you all so much. Make sure and follow us on Twitter and stuff too. All the social medias. Just help us out. We love you guys, and we will see you next week. And we'll see you on our channels. Goodbye.
You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
It sticks out that it is missing, and so I just don't feel like anyone there has a passion for let's make the best event ever. It's more like let's do the best we can, and hopefully it's good enough, and we'll slowly improve, and that's fine, and it's gonna work, and a lot of people loved it. And honestly, I can watch the tournament on mute and just watch the gameplay, and I'm perfectly happy. Like, I just want to see the games. Other people want to see the memes, and they want to hear the dreams or whatever. That's fine. I'll watch the games. But about the games, let me say this. These guys well, some of these players were not as good. They're better than me, but they're not as good as the top pros. So the gameplay is a little bit worse. And the people who are better are about to play in GSL. Like they're not showing their best games. Like the level of play that was there was just a little bit lower. So it's not like we're seeing some really awesome games.
It's like a first, second, third prize pool and stuff, was it?
Yeah. There was money, but I think it was
$800.
Yeah, it's enough money so that people aren't screwing around, but like, nobody's prioritizing. What else do I want to say? For the casting, and this is just a general about players casting.
Oh, please.
Okay. So obviously all the polish of like an experienced good caster is missing, and that's fine. Even if like nobody there is sort of providing that polish, which no regret was the guy who was kind of trying to be the host and smooth things over, and I don't expect him to be awesome on the first try. Nobody would be. So I'm not criticizing him, but just talking in general about player casting. I think there's a real missed opportunity here with the way they cast. So the way that they cast is like, especially in this situation, people would think that if I could just be a fly on the wall in a room where pros are watching a tournament and I'm hearing them talk during the games, that would be amazing. And actually, it's not that amazing because the players see the games as like a script playing out. And when one player makes a good move, they're like, you know, oh, this guy's got the advantage now. Like the script's gonna play out a certain way. Like, so when they're casting, it's bereft of any like excitement. They're not excited to see somebody play well and win. To them, they just played as expected. They didn't mess it up.
Yeah.
So now they win.
Like a result.
So when they're talking about the game, it's just like they're saying, oh, you know, this guy's doing this strat, this guy's doing this strat. It's gonna play out like this, and then you know there's an interaction between the players. One guy comes out ahead, one guy's behind, and they note that. And they're just like, now this guy has an advantage, and he's gonna do this, and like, there's nobody there with a passion for explaining their understanding of the game to the viewers, and that's what casting is. And so I felt like that was really missing. And then there's nobody there with a passion for seeing good players play well. Like, I didn't feel like anybody got, because to them it's just routine. When somebody does what they're supposed to, they're like, oh, they played right, they didn't mess up, and it, like, there's just definitely something missing. For me, it's just disappointing, because the way I would cast, or I would try to cast, I'm sure it's really hard. You gotta like look at the production tab. And that was the other thing, is like they're pros and they're just like watching the fights and not watching the production tab, and some of them are getting surprised about what's coming. So that kind of contradicts my whole it's a script thing, but it kind of is a script anyway. They're just like a minute behind when, with their programmer knowledge, they should be a minute ahead and be a little bit better about explaining the tension that is coming. And I don't know, it's just
Robbie,
can I yeah, so like I agree with like 95% of what you just said, Tyler.
Yeah,
but the 5% I disagree on is I feel like all the things that you're describing are the things that if I'm a tournament organizer or something, or I'm the one putting on this kind of event, these are all things that I would do if I wanted this tournament to be taken super seriously. And I feel like everything I saw, or like everything I've seen about this, was that they weren't like, I think there's kind of like almost like the facade that it's going to be a super serious tournament, because you have players like Stats and like Scarlet and like super good players playing. But like, it's like you said, it's not a ton of prize money. It's quite literally named a memes and dreams tournament. And it's like going back to like the whole thing about Jeff talking about like just seeing special, like being half naked on camera and like hugging people, or like random stuff like this. I think to me that's the impression that I got of what they wanted to have, is like just that whole, it's not the fly on the wall so that you can like learn about super cool things on StarCraft because like there's all these intricate details that they'll just constantly be sputtering out, but it's like just the fact that you get to see them hanging out in this super casual sense. That was the sense that I got of like what they were aiming for, is that they wanted something that was like hyper casual. People are just kind of here, and this is what it's like almost like to be in the house, but we'll have like this organized thing so that people are playing games. That's like the sense that I got.
There's a happy medium ground, or middle ground, excuse me, though, where like I think part of the reason why Homestrike Cup got it so correctly is that it is players casting. It is a lot of thick accented, typically not casting players, but it's mixed in with people that know that I think what the audience wants is a healthy mix of these guys, but then also someone saying, hey, you know, what did they do wrong in this situation? What do you think is a better strategy? And then they start the discussion on like, oh my god, we're getting Snoot giving us analysis on how to play Zerg in the situation, and that's amazing. As opposed to, and this does happen in Homestrike Cup, I don't know whose my voice is. Was it you, Dan? It's always fucking...
No, it's not me!
He's got headphones on.
What is this?
It's Dan.
You're quietly being killed?
Anyways, you guys, I'll give you another pull back the curtain moment, like towards the end of Homestrike Cup when the commentator...
Robbie doesn't even have earbuds in!
I have earbuds!
Oh, okay.
They're just so subtle.
It's Dan, it's fine, we'll move on. Towards the end of Homestrike Cup, because it's like a 5-day tournament, when the commentators are all hungover and like really tired, and it starts to be more and more of the players paired together, it's exactly what Tyler's talking about. But then they start to find like, oh, okay, Harsum has a really good hosting etiquette and personality, and you know, Todd's willing to always work, actually, so Todd's always there. But you start to pair them appropriately. And I see people in the chat, and I definitely respect this. They want something different. They want, you know, it's okay that it's not the most best cast thing, but I think, to speak on Tyler's behalf, and correct me if I'm wrong, the cool, better middle ground that I hope No Regret kind of gets it to is pair them with someone that can direct the conversation away from just like, okay, he's opened up 16 Marines. Oh, wow, he did go for the 4th Queen. This will be interesting. Kind of. I see it already 10 minutes into the future, and it looks like it's an equal trade. Like, that happens all the time, that kind of thing, and that is missed opportunity. Whereas if you have someone like a Menarde or some of these guys, a Fair Dragon, and they're just like, you know, okay, so it is 16 Marines, but you know, what is he looking for to accomplish here? And then the nerds back at home can geek out because the outpouring of information, and then more, I guess, right?
I totally agree with you on that, Jeff, but I'm almost trying to imagine like who that would be, because like the idea for all of this, I think, is that like they don't have to spend like almost any money on this. I believe that the prize pool just came from Nerd Street, so like they need to find someone who would be that, and I don't know who that would be.
What did they get in donations?
He said that they get enough donation. We got like decent headsets for sound and stuff, and then also they're gonna be able to do the next one.
I'll tell you what you do. That's pretty cool. Take the Hollywood approach. Okay, so a lot of movies are taking their stuff to China to try to kind of garner Chinese attention. Throw a couple of Chinese players in this tournament, get a couple of $1 million, and you can hire tastes. Problem solved. Okay, guys, that's it.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's a little tougher over there, and that's why, you know, I like that Tyler kind of has the gumption to get us into this real talk, where it is No Regret that he is the mother hen of that house. And when I tuned in, he was doing a pretty good job, especially for a guy that's only cast briefly at GSL and is just now kind of running that house. He would be the guy that hopefully would hear this kind of feedback and go, all right, I gotta figure it out, and I'll do it. Because I think the product could get better, and it is a completely different angle. That's the other thing here too,
Sorry
right?
to hear about it.
We don't get to see a lot of these guys interacting. It's really cool the Koreans came over and had a good time. Solar is lightning in a bottle.
But it was a long fight, about 3 years. But the nation war will live on.
cool this guy lost. Yeah, yes, yeah, dude. Pa, nije da ga voli već. Ima hate komentara, imaš na Battle.netu prije 7-8 godina na dvojicu neke likova što je napisao na Twitteru oboli od raka i umri, tako nešto je. Drugo napisao oboli od raka, izgubi sve što imaš, uživaj u svojoj zemlji trećeg svijeta i umri, znaš. Ali generalno u StarCraftu ga ljudi voli jer on je furo StarCraft. On ti onaj Nation Wars što imaš u StarCraftu, on ti ga je znači osnovao. I na kraju je osnovao svoj profesionalni tim. Znaš. I baš da... Malo kakvi razki samo. Graphics made majke ima na ultra nastavi. Ne. Razlike jebote što Lola ljepše izgleda. Stream? Ljepote. Definitivno valja kupovat novi CPU. Ako dođem do 3840, ostaću u Diamondova ligi. A nešto sam se zadovoljio, brate, zadovoljio sam se da valja. $100.000 miliona, ili 100 miliona ono, ili 100.000 miliona. Tu.
Your probes are under attack. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals. You have not enough minerals.
$35, do sad je već poslao Reapera. Možemo hladno poslati ovaj. Gdje ćeš bolan? Tu, vrac, tako. Baraks. Baraks. Bunker. Tako. Hello, momak. $100 milijuna. Koga su podjebavali? Su podjebavali Fortnite ili su podjebavali ovi?
Construct additional pylons.
No.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy. Field online. I stop. I am eager to strike. Time for battle. On the wings of justice. I will comply.
Šta radiš tu, materit tvoji? Ne mogu da skontam šta lik radi. Možda je tu bude i ono, možda je tu bude i čupalo. Razumiješ, lagana može svaka budala igrat. Ne znam koliko će ljudima biti interesantno to gledati. Oho!
Research complete. meditation is... Mineral field depleted. You have not enough minerals.
I am here in the shadows.
Command me. By your You require more Vespine gas.
Assault.
Mineral field depleted. We embrace the glory of battle. Research complete. Mineral field depleted. You require more Vespine gas.
Assault de Templano.
Entara. Upgrade complete.
I am weak.
Research complete.
Firewall max.
We are focused.
You must construct additional pylons.
Assault de Tempo. My charge. The hall. Ovak.
My meditation is over.
We are the light of power.
By your will.
Our minds are.
You require more Vespine gas.
I am here.
My life for hire.
We shall stand against the darkness. I am here in the shadows. Ovak Matan. Our minds are as one.
We embrace the glory of battle.
I am here in the shadows. We are the light. My charge. And Taro Tassadar.
Molim vas.
Upgrade complete.
We shall soon. Uno. I am.
Your warriors upgrade complete. Not enough energy.
Stand against the darkness. Our minds. Hiding. Let our enemy not fury.
Upgrade complete.
Un orkai. Thus, as we, my charge, we shall. We shall. Of my Assault de Templano.
Mineral field depleted. Our minds are as one. Mineral field depleted. Your warriors have engaged the enemy. I will comply. I like for iron. We seek enlightenment. Us I serve. And talk. We are full. I like for iron. My charge. Mineral field depleted. Let our enemy know our army.
Ajde, ulaz! Ajde vam, ulazi. Evo, završio sam. Momam. To da gledaš, jel? A to je premotaš da gledaš kako smo igrali.
Aha, vidiš, tako si. Ctrl F4.
Ne.
Ajde oprimaj sam.
Bilo je napeti bita.
Oprimaj se, ajmo.
Otićemo na stupine prvog kafla popi.
Ready to plunder.
Pa ćemo da budemo pili kafu, trsu tegda.
Your forces are under attack.
Da.
Šta je u samce? Jel se ma šta je u samce?
Ready to plunder.
Volim sam, ne volim. Šta je nešto?
Add-on complete.
Tako. Šocić.
Mineral field depleted.
Šoc majica. Tam ima patike, ima sve što mi ostalo treba.
Mineral field depleted.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Čekaj, gdje sam i napeti, ne tučemo se.
Nemoj mi to ništa napijete, hajmo.
Daj, kako se tučemo, sad se tučemo. Stvari, on ubija, sad me udara.
Govno mi idete, ljudi moji, govno mi idete. Evo sad ja. To mi ljeti.
Ja. Ja sam išao. Ti je vršku tu sranje, mate.
Ti ješ ti. Jel ti frizure, vidi frizure.
Your forces are under attack.
Jedni, sve jedni. Počet će rastu kod tebi. Zatvore, ne prije.
To je spojeta.
O, neš da
kako te jebem, znaš.
Ne, Boga. Uvene će biti natura.
Objek ste ja, spapaš.
Zato ti mene zoveš, ajmo na more, ko mi drugarci.
Da te išlišim.
Evo, tučemo se, sad se tučemo. Mi se tučemo. Ja sad gledam iz njegove perspektive.
Ready for dust off.
Suka,
Additional supply depots required.
Bogam lijepo sam se tu.
Mineral field depleted.
Ha?
Mineral field depleted.
Ready for duck off.
Ja, znači, kad dođem isto gledam kako vuče ovako atlet majstor trenira. Vidiš. Ajde, daj. Ovo sad snimujemo. Snipite, daj se tako. Da imamo finalno.
Mineral field depleted.
Ja.
SC2 ready.
Ja, ovo je, da, evo da se vučem, sad se vučem.
Mineral field depleted.
Vamo već onaj svoj. Bio sam jedno vrijeme vidio. Znači, da li ja mislim jedno 5-6 partija, jedno sam uspio. Ali sam zadnje, možda zadnje 3 partije. Sad ću kasniti.
It's go time.
Base is under attack.
To ovdje on umiri. Ne ideš sad kad klikneš, kodiš na koji tripod. Sad izbaci stavce, sad ću imamo ko je kakav bio. Ja sam imao 3827, on imao 3814.
Tu je razlika koja je tebe dala na pobjedu.
Nije. Vidiš, minus, on imao više 23 MMR-a. 3814 plus 23, a odmijeno oduzmi 22. Jer ja kad sam njeg dobio, ja sam dobio 22, znači ja sam imao 3805, a on imao 3837. I sad sam ga ja dobio, ja sam dobio 22, on je dobio minus 23. Da imamo, da bi u mojoj ligi, da mogu ostati, treba mi još mora imat minimalno 3840. Ja imam 3827, znači meni treba još jedna plafon, 2 pobjede i nisam više u krizi da ispadnem iz ove lige u kojoj su sad, tu je tier 2. Onda ide od 3840 do ne znam ja, negdje tam 3900 možda ili 3900 je tier na 1. I onda kad izađem iz tier 1 ide 4000 plus je master.
Da, ja, Radio Master, gdje je da, ja.
Pazi Babina, generalno, skor list, gledaj Babina. Ko je prvi? Ko prvi?
U čemu?
U svoju ligu.
Svoju ligu ti prvi. Ja mislim da to čitaš. Ja mislim da ti to čituješ, kurano.
Ali furka, to materi zove. Dok igram igru, u pozadini slušam show koji priča o ovoj igri.
Ajde, opremi, si gotov?
Ja sam.